following video features scenes of strong zombie violence and gore. Oh yeah, and we say fuck a lot.
It's me, it's the Big Daddy D, and welcome to another episode of the Big Daddy D Reviews. Now that the summer blockbuster movie season is over, I can now concentrate on going back to the zombie season. Today I'm going to be reviewing not a zombie movie, but a zombie comic book. A world in which all your favourite Marvel superheroes have all been turned into flesh-eating creatures. Welcome to the world of the Marvel Zombies. Anyway, the whole Marvel zombie thing started off in an issue of Ultimate Fantastic Four. Now, the Ultimate Marvel Universe is basically an alternative reality where it's basically Marvel's attempt at doing like a reboot at some of their franchises to try and introduce a younger audience. In Ultimate Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, rather than being a guy in his 30s or 40s or whatever, is now a teenage boy with glasses. Anyway, in this particular issue, it seemed as if the ultimate Reed Richards had managed to get in touch with the classic original Reed Richards via some interdimensional gateway of some sort. Anyway, turns out it wasn't the original classic Reed Richards that we all know and love, but in fact a zombified version. Oh crap. This is an alternative universe where there's been some kind of virus which has turned all the superheroes into zombies, and they all basically came in, invaded this issue of Ultimate Fantastic Four. Okay, not only have you got a zombie that can turn invisible, you've also got a zombie that can stretch out his arms and legs and grab hold of you. You've got a fucking zombie that's on fire, that can fly, and let's not forget Benjamin Grimm, alias The Thing. You go and barricade yourself in a house somewhere, or a shopping mall, or an underground missile silo like the characters in George A. Romero's films did, ain't gonna be no good when the zombie is The Thing, because he'll just smash down whatever wall you're hiding behind, and it won't be a case of it's clobbering time, it'll be a case of it's slobbering time. To make matters worse as well, the zombies in Marvel Zombies retain all their intelligence, which means they can actually develop ideas, they can actually think about how they're going to hunt you down, kill you and eat you, and when you've got a guy who's a super genius like Reed Richards, that's a fucking bad thing, folks. So, when Marvel realised they've got a great potential spin-off in their hands, the story picks up right after Magneto has destroyed the interdimensional teleporter, after the young and healthy Ultimate Fantastic Four have crossed back to their home dimension. Magneto realises at this point he's completely fucked because he's surrounded by zombies. Now, Mags ain't about to go down without a fight because the zombies have decided to attack Magneto in a smouldering pile of metal wreckage that's left over from the teleporting machine, which gives him plenty of ammo to use against them, which they soon learn the hard way. Splat! Sorry, Daredevil, I thought you were Ben Affleck for a second there. Magneto even gets hold of Captain America's shield and uses it to slice the top of his head off. And here, Captain America is showing us exactly why it's important to get a good, clean headshot when eliminating a member of the undead horde, because if you mess it up, they'll get really pissed off. Except he's not called Captain America in this, he's called Colonel America, and he was even president for a while, which, you know, makes sense. I mean, you've let that retarded cowboy guy run your country for enough years, so, you know, you may as well let a guy in a star-spangled monkey suit run it for a bit as well. Despite the fact that Magneto has got a city full of metal to defend himself, he's pretty much fucked because he's got every single Marvel hero coming after him. Eventually, the Wasp, of all people, comes in there for the kill, and he's been bitten. But he also knows that the zombies are going to gobble him up until there's nothing left, so he won't even get a chance to become one of them. So for his final parting words, he goes, "I hope you choke on me!" I bet you say that to all the girls. From there, we get a feeding frenzy, and in the immortal words of the Cookie Monster from Sesame Street, nom 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 nom. This is why this comic ain't for kids. I mean, there's some pretty graphic stuff here when they're ripping and tearing the Magneto apart whilst they're devouring him. After the feeding frenzy, the zombies are just kind of chilling out, comparing battle scars and going, right, what shall we do next? Some of the dialogue that takes place between the zombies, I mean, it's not just, oh, brains. They're actually talking to each other as normal, but some of the dialogue is absolutely messed up. Daredevil's going, what about me? I clearly don't have a heart, but I'm still fine. Near as I can tell, my only gripe is a little swelling in the ankles. To which Jarman replies, let me see. Oh my, that's not just swelling, Daredevil. Since your heart has stopped pumping blood, gravity's forcing it down to your lower extremities. Your legs are filled with blood. Well, that's just going to slow me down. Can't I just puncture my legs and drain them? For the love of Christ, we've got a guy casually talking about putting holes in his calf so he can drain all the blood out. Ugh, this is messed up. Spider-Man's still a whingy little bitch, of course, but this time round it's actually justified. You find out in a prequel to Marvel Zombies that Spider-Man was bitten by the zombie Captain America. After that he went home to get his wife, Mary Jane, and his Aunt May basically out of the way, and he succumbed to the hunger and ended up eating both of them up. So he's really got it bad, the poor bastard. So anyway, whilst they're all sitting around arguing about what they're going to do next, they're moping about the fact that they've eaten all their loved ones whilst they're meant to be the heroes, who turns up but the frigging Silver Surfer. Now, if you're a zombie and you see something like this, that's the equivalent of seeing the ice cream man drive into your neighbourhood. So all the Marvel zombies go off to basically hunt down the Silver Surfer for some more food, apart from Giant Man, who sneaks off to his secret lair, where he's got a bit of a snack there waiting for him. Now, some of these superheroes have turned out pretty messed up now they've gone all zombified. You've got a guy like Giant Man. Now, if you were a fan of Giant Man, Ant-Man, whatever the hell he's called, you probably won't be after this, because he's basically developed a bit of a taste for human flesh, and he thinks that even if they could go back to being normal, he'd still eat people. And he's thinking about all this while he's chopping off the Black Panther's foot so he can eat it. But then Giant Man's wife, the Wasp, comes bursting in, basically to say, "God damn it, Hank, this time your foot fetish has gone too far." So of course, like in any Marvel continuity, he beats the shit out of her. Good to see that some things never change. But of course, he's never done this in any other Marvel alternative storyline. Never bitten a head off before. Meanwhile, the Marvel zombies have caught up with the Silver Surfer, who's basically given the whole dialogue about he's the herald of Galactus, destroyer of worlds, blah blah blah, you're all gonna die, blah blah blah. They're not impressed by this shit, so they all decide to go and get him. Iron Man has a go and ends up getting split in half by the cosmic power wielded by the Surfer. But luckily he's still got Wolverine on hand to throw him back into the fray, and just so we can gnaw someone's knees off. I mean, Christ, I know that Tony Stark, being an alcoholic, has got a tendency to go out and get legless, but this is just taking the fucking piss. After Wolverine throws Iron Man back into the fray, he decides to have a go, but only succeeds in tearing the flesh off his own adamantium-laced bones. Gah! Indeed. During the course of the battle, the Hulk goes completely apeshit and decides he's going to have the Silver Surfer all to himself. The Silver Surfer's having none of that shit and blasts the Hulk in the face with his cosmic power. But this only pisses off the not-so-jolly green giant off even more. So in a rage, the Hulk bites the Surfer's head off. Then the rest of the heroes all dig in, but they quickly realise that by eating the Silver Surfer, they've also absorbed a portion of his cosmic power. Some of the Marvel zombies who missed the feeding frenzy then show up, including Beast from the X-Men, and they basically call the guys who ate the Surfer complete arseholes and complain about how nobody saved any bits for them. Colonel Merricrix responds to this by blowing Beast's head off with his newfound power. Whoa, shit! Didn't expect that to happen, my bad. Meanwhile, the Black Panther has regained consciousness from all the drugs that Giant Man's been topping him up with, and he decides to make his escape with one arm and one leg. And he's also decided to bring the head of the Wasp with him, who constantly begs him to have a couple of nibbles of scraps of flesh that he won't be needing. During his escape, he encounters a group of Magneto's acolytes. They immediately grill the Black Panther for answers, because naturally you see a one-armed, one-legged man carrying a talking head. Well, he knows the shit that's going on around here. Meanwhile, Galactus has turned up, the Silver Surfer's boss, who's basically this devourer of worlds, some kind of god, who dresses up in the most manly colour possible, pink, and he tells the zombies that he's going to basically fulfill his hunger by eating them all, at which the zombies say, well, actually, we ate the Silver Surfer, and we're still hungry, which sends the Galactus off into rather a hissy fit. I mean, seriously, he seems to be more pissed off that the zombies said they were hungrier than him, than the fact that they killed his herald. However, you'll have to come back for the concluding part of this review to find out what happens next. Galactus versus the Marvel Zombies. One is going to end up in the other's stomach, but who will it be? Stick around for part 2 to find out.